Okay, so today, first of all, I will briefly explain about the program. And as it was sent before the session, we prepared a question sheet for this info session. And actually, we already have 12 questions written here. And let me paste the link here. And if you have any questions, please write down them to the list sheet. And then we will answer to the questions listed here later, and also it can be recorded, and other people may have the same question, but if we type the answers there, then other people will not have to repeat the same question. So please, when you have any questions, please write down them on this sheet. Okay, then let me start my presentation, and after that, I will invite one of our alumni to share her experience. Then we will answer the questions. Okay, then let me share the screen here. Okay, yes. Okay, so I think you can watch the PowerPoint presentation. So let me start. So first of all, about our organization, Pathway Japan. So we were established in 2021, but we succeeded a program of admission of Syrians to Japan, which was founded in 2017. So actually, the program is already 8 years old, and for the programs for Afghans, this is the 4th year of admission of Afghans after the regime collapsed in 2021. And we are based in Tokyo, and we have mainly 4 programs. One is the scholarship for higher education. The second one is this one, admission of people with a refugee background to Japan. Third is the employment and self-reliance support for those people. And lastly, the advocacy. And overall situation of the program is as described here. So we are working with some language schools in Chiba Prefecture close to Tokyo, and Tokyo area, or in the other areas in the west or in the north. Then they waiver the tuition fee so that you can learn the language for 2 years and reach business or academic level. And we help you to get a visa and a residence permit in Japan so that you can move to Japan and learn the language and be self-reliant to be part of the society. And this is the support for the refugees and also people who will need to evacuate from Afghanistan for some reason due to the situation after 2021. So we use the student visa, but this is a humanitarian program to admit Afghans to Japan and help them to be self-reliant. And 2 years is the actually minimum period to master this language. This language, Japanese, is quite different from yours. And also the writing system and grammar takes a little more time than the other languages. So 2 years it is a generous offer by the schools to study it for 2 years. And the legal status in Japan, you will first get a student visa and a student legal status in Japan. And after graduation, you need to renew it. And if you become a university student, you can renew it to student visa again. And if you get permanent full-time work, then you can change to working status. Then eventually you can get a permanent residence after living in Japan for 10 years. So by this way, you renew your status to continue your stay in Japan. And number of admittance, this year we are trying to recruit 6 to 8, maximum 8 students from Afghanistan. This is our target number this year. And financial support other than the tuition fees, travel fee from your place to Japan within some limitation, and preparatory language training before your departure, and living and accommodation cost covered by a student by working time within 28 hours per week. So basically you will need to start working part-time after your arrival and have to support your life. But until you find your living place, we cover the accommodation cost. And also for 6 months, we partially support you for your housing before you become fully independent by working part-time. So this is the whole structure. So if you are admitted, then you can get a visa. You can go to Japan. You can get basically basic support of the language or information, or support for finding a room, support for finding an apartment. Sorry, it's the same. Support for finding a part-time job. These are the things you can get, but still, you have to you have to rely on yourself and have to open up your way by yourself. We help you to be self-reliant, but we help your self-support. It's not that you can rely on us 100%, so it's not really easy program, and you really have to be determined to work part-time and open up your new life in Japan. This is kind of a requirement. Okay, and application requirement here. Afghan national residing in Afghanistan or evacuated after August 2021. So we are targeting people who fled the country, who had to flee the country after August 2021 due to the political change, or those people who are still inside of Afghanistan, but under some threat or some risks, and those need to leave the country, those people will be eligible. And basically, you need to be single with no dependents on you. Or this could be a very rare case, but if your partners, wife and husband, and both are applying for this program, both are recruited, then it's possible, probably, theoretically possible to join this program, but basically you have to be single. And Japanese government requires the certificate of high school graduation to get a student visa. So you need to have a graduate certificate either from high school or university. This is the requirement by the government, so this is really necessary. So you have to complete the 12 years of primary and secondary education somewhere, and have to be able to submit the certificate. That's the requirement. And aged 26 or less for high school graduates, and 33 or less for university graduates. And have strong interest in mastering Japanese language and understanding Japanese society and culture. And basically how we prioritize those people who are already learning the Japanese. So you're supposed to start studying Japanese to show that you already tested the language, and you know what it is like, and you know that you can really learn that, you like that, and you can master that. You have to test that. We really think it's necessary because it's very different from your language or the languages in Europe. And unless you don't try learning that, you will never know if you are really good at learning that, or you really want to learn that. So this point is quite important for the vision of this program. And motivated to build working career in Japan or internationally. So having a clear plan and some career plan, let's say, that's very important. So if you just happen to know about this program and you just happen to think about going to Japan, but if you don't have any plans after coming to Japan, or if you don't have any concrete plan after learning the language, then we doubt that if you can be really self-reliant in Japan. It's not really easy to move to a new culture, new country, and this is not a governmental program, program by NGO and the private schools, and if you don't have made up any plans by seriously considering how it's going to be like to go to Japan and settle down there and start a new career, then we really think that need to think that this person might not be very ready to come to a new country. So this is also a very important point. And agree with condition that one has to work part-time to cover living costs while being a language student. This is also very important. And this is not a scholarship to cover the whole stipend while you're learning the language. Actually, you really need to be ready to work part-time. But actually, we believe this is very important in various meanings. One is to learn the language. You will never master that just learning it in a classroom. You have to be in the society and have to communicate with native speakers by using the language, and have to try it. Have to make a lot of mistakes before improving that. And to know the people, to know the culture, working part-time is a really, really good opportunities. And in Japan, actually, working part-time is quite common among students, both international students and Japanese students. And it's not very rare, actually, very common practice in Japan to work part-time. And this gives you a lot of experiences. And as a preparation for finding a full-time employment after completion of education, your part-time job experience will be also really helpful to find a full-time employment. This is also another aspect. And lastly, many of the students who joined this program expressed that they were happy to do this, working part-time, not depending on someone's help 100%. So you are not depending on somebody else for your life, but you are depending on yourself to support yourself. This is really important for your dignity and for your pride to support yourself. So we think that this is kind of a really, really good combination of, giving partial support and also you're helping yourself by yourself. So we are taking careful balance between those two so that you can learn many things, improve your language, and can have a pride of supporting yourself by working full time. So this is also very important part of the program. So you really have to agree with this program. If you think it's not really appropriate to work part-time while you're learning the language, then this program may not be of your choice. Okay. And lastly, not necessary to support family financially. This is also important. And we are not giving 100% of life cost for you. You need to work part-time. And while you're working part-time and learning the language, practically it's not possible to support your family wherever they are in Afghanistan or in any other countries. You just have to support yourself while learning the language. So if you are in need of supporting a parent or in need of supporting your siblings or niece, nephew, or whatever the relatives, actually, it's not yet time for you to apply for this program, unfortunately. And of course, after you complete your education and if you get full-time employment in Japan, of course, it's your choice. It's your freedom to support whomever you want. So in the future, it's possible, but while you're being a student, you cannot take this responsibility. So this is something you also need to consider. Okay, and some people are writing the questions in the chat box, so I will try to follow it up. But I appreciate if you could type this in the question sheet, because if many of you write down the questions in chat box, it's going to be full of questions, and it's sometimes quite hard to track which one was answered and which one wasn't. So I would appreciate your cooperation if you write them in the question sheet. Okay, then let me continue. And the recruitment schedule is one. Okay. So now we are giving this info session, and after 2nd of August, this week, this week, Friday, we opened the recruitment for 20 days. And after you submit your application, we do the document screening, and the review committee will make a decision and make an announcement of the people who will be called for the interview. And between 20th and 26th of September, interview will be conducted online by Pathway Japan. This means Pathway Japan's review committee. We have an independent review committee by academics and some experts in this matter. So they will conduct the interview. Then the 10th of October, we are supposed to announce the result of the first interview. And after that, there's going to be another interview by the school. So after the first interview, we will decide which school to recommend to. Then you're going to be recommended to one of our partner schools. Then that school teacher of that school will make another interview online. Then if they agree to admit you and give you a free education for 2 years, then our plan is on the 18th of October, we will announce the final result of the screening process. So it can take more than 2 months to make our final decision. And after that, we'll have you to apply for the visa, and we will give you the preparatory language study before your departure. Presumably, you need to study 100 to 150 hours of Japanese before entering language school. So you're supposed to start learning it when you apply for a program, but if your level is not to 150 hours of studying, then I will help you to increase the studying hours and help you to be more ready to come to Japan and start learning systematically. Okay. And the end of March, last week of March, we are planning to help you to travel to Japan. Then after April, you will start your online. Okay. And after your arrival, what kind of support you can get? It's written here. We're going to give you orientation on various aspects of your life in Japan, your legal status, how you're going to life be, and what you should do in emergency situations, and how you manage your life, how you find a part-time job, and how you can get your food stuff and how you can learn the language. And also, we're going to give you some training for CV writing in Japanese and also the interview in Japanese. And actually, next year, April, you need to be ready to take an interview for part-time job in Japan in Japanese. So this is the requirement. So you don't need the advanced level, you just need a basic level. But yeah, you have to be communicate basically in Japanese by next year, April, to start your life in Japan and get a part-time job and be in that class to follow the classes. So it's not that you start studying next April. Actually, next April, you start using the language to work in this country. So this is the requirement. So probably you can imagine how it is important to start learning right now to be ready to apply for that and to be eligible to be selected for this program. And we help you to find your accommodation and we help you to find a part-time job. Actually, in Japan, it's not very difficult to find a part-time job if you don't choose that. We are in a quite serious labor shortage, and even with basic Japanese skills, you can find jobs by like working factories or working at a hotel as a bed maker or working at the restaurant as a dishwasher. These jobs are really available if your level is still basic. So we're happy to find some part-time job. And we're going to give you regular consultation for study and life. And school is also there. Their Japanese study schools are not just school. Actually, they are kind of a supporting organization for newcomers to this society. And they're going to help you just about the study, but about your life. And you can daily communicate with the teachers about your life issues. And we're going to also help you to build your career. And some of you, I believe, will seek university's degree. So we help you to prepare for that and give you information about the scholarship or preparation, how you can prepare for the exams. And if you're university graduates and you want to start working after completion of the language study, then we help you for your job hunting. So this is the support you can get. So if you're really at the basic level Japanese, really determined to learn the language, know the culture, be part of the society, and also if you have a clear career plan, what you're gonna do, what kind of skills you have, and what you plan to establish your new life in Japan, then we believe we prepare most of the necessary things for you, and based on those support, you can be really self-reliant and open up your new life, new destiny in this country. Okay, then next thing, I will explain some good things, positive things about living in Japan. Then I will touch upon also negative issues about the Japanese society or Japanese program. Okay, so good thing is a society with security. That's probably advantage. Of course, this is a human society. We have crimes, we have murders. Recently, former Prime Minister Abe was assassinated, so it's not paradise. And I'm not saying that we don't have any security issues, but compared with the situation of your country or some other countries, relatively, this society is quite safe and secured, and you can really concentrate on your career. Probably you should be facing quite a big hardship in your country where you're living in, and in Japan, of course, we have variety kind of difficulties, but safety, security, this is the advantage of Japanese society have. And student legal status can be obtained for language students. The visa for to become a language student in Japan is not very difficult if you can be admitted by a school. So our program can give you this opportunity. So getting a student visa for, let's say, countries like in Europe or in North America, it's not very easy, as you know. And in Japan, of course, to get a university student visa, you really need a full scholarship. But for language school, it's rather easier to obtain that, and we have some supporting mechanism for you to set up your life. So this is also really good point. And university scholarship programs available for refugee background students. So we are offering our own program, but also the foundations or United Nations offering some programs. So if you are seeking some degree, then there are some programs available. Opportunities of part-time job for students and full-time employment for university vocational school graduates are full. Okay, so that I'm repeatedly saying that the Japanese society is in labor shortage and we are in population decrease. And this country is now opening up its job market for the foreign workers. And a lot of industries need people who can work in this country. So there are opportunities for you to work part-time while you're a student. And after you complete your education, there are opportunities to get full-time employment. However, Japanese language is very, very necessary. That's the requirement. Once you overcome this challenge, learning this new language, mastering that, then opportunities will be present there. But another aspect is that if you, after coming to Japan, find that this country is so different, too different for you, too complicated for you to master that, then this country can be a really, really hard place, really can be a really hell for you because very few people speak English in this country. Probably it's quite same as Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, actually I've been to Afghanistan several times back in 2000, and very few people in Afghanistan speak English, right? And it's probably there's no statistics, but my impression is relation is quite similar. Like I said, very few people understand English in Japan. So high proficiency of English doesn't mean anything in this country when it comes to finding a job. If you just become a traveler, that's fine. But if you need a job, then the job is really important. And if you don't speak Japanese, then the job will be quite difficult. And the jobs you can get will be, let's explain, several minutes later. Washing dishes, it's possible. But even if you have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, but if you don't speak Japanese, the job you can get is just washing dishes or making a bed, those simple jobs. So this is the other aspect of the society. So good point is opportunities are huge if you master the language. So this is the good point. And actually, the education language working legal status can be obtained for university or vocational school graduates. So in this country, previously, what you needed is language schools and university certificates and full-time employment to get a working visa. But it's really attainable if you get a degree and if you have high proficiency of Japanese, then working visa is really possible. And it can lead to permanent residence. So this is also really good positive aspect. And let me also mention that some humanitarian status is also guaranteed by the government. If you have some difficulties of getting employment in time. So after 2 years, you wanted to get a job, but if you couldn't get that, then you can get 1 year of humanitarian status to continue job hunting. Then after you get your job, then you get a chance to work in visa. So this is also guaranteed. And naturalization, this means getting Japanese citizenship. That's also possible. and getting permanent residence. That's also possible after living in 5 to 10 years in Japan. So this can lead to your, some kind of permanent resident possibility in this society. And lastly, open for success for those who make efforts with diligence. If you really ready to work hard in this country, and you can get some opportunities, but you really need to be a hard worker to attain some success in this society. Okay. Then let me touch upon some negative issues. Okay. First of all, cultural issues, or a bit of the society issues. So limited population of foreigners, just 2 to 2.5%, and with even more limited Muslim population and relevant services. So it is still quite kind of a limited opportunities in Japan to see a foreign people. And it's becoming more and more, but still, if you go to rural areas, it's quite rare. And even in metropolitan Tokyo area, majority are from Japanese society. And so you will be kind of a minority as a foreigner. And Muslim population is quite limited. And that means many Japanese people just don't know about what is Islam, what is it like to be a Muslim. They don't have a malintention, it's just ignorance. But historically, there were no large Muslim community in the society. So many people still probably have never talked with a Muslim in their lives. If they don't speak English, then, it's really rare to have an occasion to meet any Muslim. So what they know, the knowledge are quite limited. Some people don't have the understanding of what is halal, or some employers don't understand why the Muslim ladies wear hijab. They don't understand the cultural or religious background. So this kind of, difference really lies in countries. And my observation is the students from Afghanistan, when they are in this country, the first thing they find very different is food. Many people find that there's something to eat in Japan. Many things are sold, but most of them are not halal, and the tastes are quite different, and you just don't want to eat that. So many things are sold at the supermarket. Most of them are not edible for African people. So this is kind of a culture shock in the first stage. So I like this, people's communication or housing different, transportation system very different, everything's different. You really need to be ready to go to a new culture, new society. And Japanese language, so I already explained this. I don't repeat so much, but this is the key. And English proficiency doesn't mean much in this society. It's better to have it, of course, but it's not really direct of it. And different climate, culture, food. Climate, that's also really, really, really difficult. Different. That's also part of the thing. And really, it's really humid and hot. Very different from Afghanistan or surrounding countries. And high living cost, especially housing. This is also a challenge. And because of the land that is livable in this country are limited, our housing are quite small compared with countries like yours. And but still it's very high. So I'm repeatedly saying this in info session. And for the students who are recruited, I explained to them before their departure, but many people are still shocked when they see the real apartment that they have to live in, how small it is and still how expensive they are. it's just one room, but it costs like a $400 per month, and deposit and contract fee. You may need something like 1,300 US dollars for just a tiny space of room. So this is the housing situation in Japan. So actually, we are quite poor, I'd rather say, in our housing situation. So this is also kind of cultural difference and shocking things. Yeah. And healthcare and mental health challenges, this is also relevant. And because of the cultures are very different, and also you're going to be separated from your relatives and families. And after your arrival, making friends from the society takes a lot of time because of the language, because of the culture. Many people feel lonely or isolated or frustrated by the differences or financial situation or other things. So this is also the challenges. And if you seek refugee status, low rate of refugee status determination, and also limited life support even after recognized refugees. This is also quite big difference from countries in the West Europe or North America. So if you, let's say, get a student visa to Germany, or if you get a visa to Canada, and if you face some difficulties, then I think you can seek asylum. And if you are determined as a refugee, then you can have a full package of the support by the government, right? I believe they give you 3 years of support of the learning the German language, and they give you the support for the full-time employment. But in Japan, actually, I'm ashamed to say this, but our government have signed the refugee convention, but their recognition rate for the refugee is quite low, unfortunately. And even if after you recognize, actually, their support is quite limited, actually less than upper urban. We are giving 2 years of language learning, right? But the government is giving just 6 months of language support, just basic, actually. And after 6 months, they will tell you to be self-reliant. So actually, the job you can get as a refugee is just like the entry job, as I explained, working at a factory, or working as a bookmaker, or those jobs that you can get after government support. So don't be mistaken in this. Japan, you may think that this is an advanced, developed country, but in terms of the refugee protection, we are still far behind this international standards, and you really cannot rely on our government support, even if you didn't get good jobs or anything. Actually, we never support the government in admission of new people. So we are doing our best, but there's no backup support by the government. This is quite a big difference from the situation in the West Europe or North America. So please understand that. Okay, and let me share some photos. So this is the honorable orientation by alumni students. So when you arrive, if you're selected and arrive in Japan next year, we will give you the orientation. But also, we ask alumni, in your case, Afghan former students, to give orientation, and they can share the experiences in your language. And from Afghan point of view, they can tell you what is important to know to be part of this new society, different society. So this is something we do. And also the quarterly consultation by PJ staff. This is myself, but of course we are working as a team. So one of our staff members will regular visit and consultations. Okay. Then, lastly, achievement of alumni and students. So we have admitted 12 students in total for 3 years, and their situation. So in the first year, we admitted as an emergency program 3 people, And this year, March to May, they all completed the language study, and actually all of them got employment and they are working. So this is something we can tell you that after working hard on learning the language, then you will also have high chances of getting employment in this country. And the second term students actually they are still studying the language schools, and one actually found a scholarship, so he moved to another program, and one got some support and decided to move to another country. So this is a bit of a rare case, but some decided to move to some other programs, and some are still learning, and they are actually starting their job hunting. And last year we admitted actually 6 people, but unfortunately one had to withdraw from a program due to some passport issue. So 6 were admitted and they are still studying. And 5 out of 6 students already got part of job and they are working now. So next year, by this time, you should be start working part-time if you're part of our program as a fourth-term students. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, I'll complete the slides properly. This is also written in the program guidance, but online you can learn a lot of things now about the Japanese language. So I paste this link to the chat box. So if you want, you can copy that. And if you haven't started your Japanese study, or if you really don't know what it is like to learn this language at all, then you can browse those sites. First sites are written in Farsi, so you can learn the structure of this language by learning through this website of NHK. And there are several other sites, and I have pasted wrongly. Sorry, the link I pasted was sorry about the scholarships. So this one. This one, sorry. This one is the managed one. So NHK is the Farsi website to learn what is Japanese language is like. And Erin's Chinese, this is a really cultural one. Girl named Erin experiences a lot of scenes in Japan. So you might use that. And also the Minato and the Irodori, those are created by a half governmental organization. So if you really want to learn it more systematically, Minato is kind of recommended by government for foreigners to start learning. So you can use those sites to start learning the basic. And I'm quite sure that if you really invest your time, let's say 2 hours per day, learning the basic is not very difficult, and pronunciation is not very difficult like Russian or German or Arabic. So if you haven't tried that, please make a try and make sure that you really can continue learning this language, very different language, and can use it. Then after that, please do apply for program if you think you can. Otherwise, I'm repeating the same is if you find that you hate learning such a very time-consuming language to learn, then your life can be really, really hard, even if you're selected for this program. So this is something I repeated the same. And lastly, there are some sites about the study in Japan. This is the general sites about the studying in Japan for international students in general. So there are a lot of information here for you to know as a new student in Japan. And JLPT and EJU are the exam. JLPT is the next exam. EJU is the English exam for next year for Japan. And target. And this is the example of the scholarship. And this one is the example of the Valley School, JIC. This is one of our partner schools. So you can know what is this like to be part of the program to learn language and live in the society. Okay, so this is the end of the slides. And Narami-san is our alumni already joined the session?
Yes, Hamido-san. You should be here.
ハミドさん、もう入ってますか？まだかな？
いや、入ってたんですけどね。ちょっと待ってください。落ちた。
ちょっと接続途切れましたかね。じゃあちょっと先に Q&A に行きます。ハミドさん、まだですよね。
はい。
いらっしゃいますか？
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
はいはい。はい、聞こえます。Okay, we can hear you. Okay, so thank you for joining today. And I just explained briefly about the program and what is important, also what is good to join this program to come to Japan, and what can be really hard, or what can be negative things of coming to Japan from Japanese point of view. But actually, you're from Afghanistan, you experienced this program for 2 years. You reach certain level of Japanese, now you're working. So I really appreciate you can share your experiences, how you learn the language, how you work part-time, and how you find a job and living in this country. So you can speak in your language and please start your explanation. Thank you for your cooperation, please.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. سلام خدمت همگی. من ملالای حمید هستم. در افغانستان پنتون تعلیم تربیه را خواندیم. 4 سال پنجه روانشناسی را. بعدا در تعلیم تربیه در دارالمعلمین فیض جمال‌الدین افغان استاد بودم. در مدت 6-7 سال استاد بودم اونجا و همچنان در جیکا کار میکردم. پروژه داشتیم، بخش کتاب می نوشتیم در بخش روانشناسی اختصاصی و بعدا من ماستریام می خواندم در بخش شبانه در مدیریت. قسمت سمستر آخرم بود که طالب آمد. همراه مادر و برادرم زندگی میکردم. قبل از اینکه طالب بیاید زندگی خوبتر داشتم و کار بسیار خوب داشتم، معاش داشتم و زندگی نرمال پیش می بردیم. 6 ماه قبل از اینکه طالبا بیاید مادرم فوت کرد. بعد از او طالبا آمدن و من از ماستری ماندم و سمستر آخرم بود و دفاع نکردم. بالاخره کارم چنان وقتی طالبا آمد، بخشی که من کار میکردم و درس میدادم تمامش دخترها بودن و بخش دارالمعلمین بود. البته که کل جای بعد دخترها بسته شد و بالاخره ما هم کار ما خلاص شد و کار نداشتیم. وقتی طالب آمد تا بعد از او 3 ماه بعد از او تقریبا امرای برادر که زندگی میکردم و سکته قلبی کردن، فوت کردن. تنها من ماندم در خانه و ما خانم برادرم و 3 اولاد که داشتن. یعنی زندگی بسیار فشار خراب سر ما آمده بود و نمیفهمیدیم که چی کنیم و چه قسم ما خانه خود یعنی پیش ببریم. بالاخره چون خانم برادر ما میره با مادر خود پس باید زندگی میکرد، من تصمیم گرفتم که باید از افغانستان برایم و یک حداقل خارج یک جایی که برام بتونم به برادرزادایم که در اینجا هستن در افغانستان کمک کنم. بالاخره یک دوست داشتم در ژاپن، اونا بر من برنامه ژاپان پتوی را معرفی کردن. بعدا من اپلای کردم در این برنامه و اینترویو دادم. وقتی که ما در اینجا اپلای میکنیم، فکر کنم شما وقتی که حال اپلای میکنین، حال تعداد کسایی که اشتراک میکنه بسیار زیاد است. در وقتی که ما شاید 20 نفر یا 15 نفر به نظر ما بود و در بین از اونا فکر کنم تنها من دختر بودم یا 2-3 نفر دیگه بود، اونا کامیاب نشدن. من شدم و 2 پسر دیگه بودن کامیاب شدن. بالاخره در این برنامه من کامیاب شدم و آمدم ایران. از ایران بالاخره ژاپن آمدم. وقتی که در ژاپن آمدم من چون یعنی امو 6 ماه 1 سال اول مشکلات بسیار زیاد را در ژاپن سپری کردم و من قبلا وقتی که برای جیکا یک مؤسسه است که ژاپنی است از طرف ژاپن است، قبلا هم من 3 بار ژاپن آمده بودم در سمینارهای کوتاه مدت و تصویری که من از او داشتم فکر میکنم که اینجا بیایم زندگی سهولت است و مشکلات خدا شاید نداشته باشه مثل که ما در افغانستان داریم و اینا. بالکل یعنی فرق داشت. در اونجا ما کاری که میکنیم در افغانستان و خودم همین چند سال که استاد بودم، یعنی اقدر ما کل ما میفهمیم که آن تایم مثلا زیادتر وقت نمی باشیم و چیزی که رخصتی زیادتر میکنیم، چیزی که اینا هیچ وقت نمیکنن، حتی در 6-7 سال 1 روز هم رخصتی نمیکنن. این چیزایی بود که ما آمدم کلش یک چیزای نو بود. اینو تجربه کردم. 3 ماه اول که آمده بودم من کار پیدا نمیکردم و چون نو برادرم آمد داده بودم و از فامیل کم کلان بودیم پیش از یعنی از مادر دیگه ما برادر خواهر داشتم، از یک فامیلی که یعنی بالکل من همیشه در اجتماع خانه من بیربار و همیشه افراد زیاد بوده و در جایی که درسام میدادم با کلش اجتماع بود، شاگردا بود، حتی 10-15 صنف هم درس میدادم. وقتی که اینجا آمدم در یک 4 دیوار اتاق تنها من بودم، بس دیگه کسی نبود که من برش صحبت کنم یا گپ بزنم. وقتی که مکتب میرفتم، مکتب همچنان تمامش خارجی ها یعنی از هر کشور بودن، کسی نبود که من برش یک گپ بزنم و خصوصا چون از یک کشور اسلامی که ما میاییم، ما امرای مثلا پسرها و اینا نمیتونیم صحبت کنیم و همچنان دخترایی که کم فرق داشتن و آزاد میباشن اینا، تا که مؤسسه بفهمیم که شخص امرای از اینا گپ بزنیم اینا بر من زیاد مشکل بود. و دایی 3-4 ماهی که ما آمدم بسیار دپریشن خراب گرفته بود مرا. همیشه صرف گریه میکردم، صرف در خانه درس اصلا هیچ نمیخواندم، هیچ پرکتیس چیزی نمیکردم. تا امی 3 ماه هر جایی را که من کمپانی هر جایی را که پیدا میکردم و میخواستم به کار اپلای کنم، وقتی که اپلای میکردم میگفتن ژاپنی یاد نداری، مرا کار نمیگرفتن. یعنی زیاد هم از مکتب میومدم نیم روز باز در خانه میبودم تنها. بالاخره می که خودم معرفی کنم نام ما چیست، ما چی میخوایم، اینی در ورقه نوشته میکنم و در هر کمپانی زنگ میزدم که نام ما فلان است، به ژاپنی میگفتم، بازو گتو میفهمید که یاد ندارم، مرا نمیگرفتن. بالاخره از طرف مکتب یک کمپانی رو به من معرفی کردن که در اینجا زنگ بزن شاید برات کار بده. وقتی که زنگ زدم اونا یک کم تام انگلیسی هم استفاده میکنن و اینجا در ژاپن هر جایی که میریم در دکان هم هر جای هیچ کسی، یعنی اگه یادم داشته باشن نمیفهمم چرا اینا نمیگن که ما یاد داریم، انگلیسی را اصلا هیچ استفاده نمیکنن در هیچ جای. از این خاطر بسیار مشکل است کسی که نام ژاپنی یاد نداشته باشه و انگلیسی رو هم کسی همراهش صحبت نکنه، سودا خریدن تمام بسیار مشکل می باشه. خب بالاخره در او کمپانی ما زنگ زدم و کم انگلیسی گفتن و امرای ما بالاخره مرا در کار گرفتن. کاری که من شروع کردم کار یک مارکت است به نام ایون. این مارکت چی بود؟ ماهی و چیزایی که یخ زده است، یخچال بود، در بین یخچال دیگه ما اینا را اسکن میکردیم، از یک کارتنا پر میکردیم و وقتی که این کارم من گرفتم تقریبا تا 1 هفته من یک قسم شوک زده ها بودم، چون من همیشه در جایی بودم که درس میدادم و همگی زیاد با من احترام میکرد و کاری قسم کار اصلا من هیچ وقت حتی در خانه من کار نمیکردم مقدر، چون زیادتر درس دادن و تا شام ماستری میخواندم. وقتی که کار کردم بسیار سرم فشار میامد و میگفتم من چی کار مثلا خرابه به خشره در نظرم چرا میکنم. خب تا 3-4 ماه پای درد بسیار شدم، جان درد شدم، پیش دکتر رفتم، گفتم بسیار یخچال می باشی در جای سرد، پایم بسیار درد میکرد. خب 6-7 ماه را به این مشکلات تیر کردم، هم لسان قدر نفهمیدم و هم کار بسیار مشکل که روز 7 ساعت تا 4 در مکتب می بودم، بعد از اون می رفتم کار میکردم تا 10 بجه شب تا خانه می آمدم، 12 بجه شب، 12 بجه تا خواب میکنم، پس روز 6-7 ساعت مخاو میکردم، پس صبح پس مکتب برم، حتی وقتم در پرکتیس درس هم نداشتم. خب بالاخره 6-7 ماه که تیر شد، ما دیدم که در ژاپن اگر ما میخوایم زندگی کنیم، یعنی اصلا امکان نداره که ما لسانش یاد نگیریم، با وجودی که بسیار مشکل است ژاپنی نسبت به انگلیسی. مثلا ما اردو انگلیسی را میفهمم، منتها نظر به این دو لسانی که ما یاد گرفتیم با ژاپنی یعنی زمین آسمان فرق داره، بسیار مشکل است. منتها 6 ماه بعد ما شروع کردم تمرین درس خواندن و که بالاخره تا کم 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 بالاخره ژاپنی را یاد گرفتم. وقتی که ژاپنی رو یاد گرفتم، ما قبلا هم براتون گفتم در رشته تعلیمات، رشته روانشناسی خوانیم، بخشی که یعنی وقتی که بخوایم ما افراد معلول نگهداری کنیم، این بخش ما خواندیم و افراد نابینا، ناشنوا یا عقب مانده ذهنی را. بالاخره در افغانستان هم هر سیمینار و در ژاپن هم که قبلا گرفته بودیم در بخش عقب مانده های ذهنی زیاتر ما سیمینار گرفتیم و درس دادیم در این بخش. یگانه یعنی خواست ما بود که اگر در افغانستان هم من میخواستم که یک مکتب باید جور کنم در بخش عقب مانده ذهنی، یا افراد کمک کنم و اینا. در اینجا بالاخره کمک لسان یاد گرفتم. ما در امی بخش که عقب مانده ذهنی کمک میکنن یا نگاه میکنن، در اینجا انترویو دادم. وقتی که انترویو دادم کامیاب شدم، چون وقت ژاپنی رو یاد گرفته بودم. ژاپنی بعدا شما شاید معلومات حاصل کنین، درجه داره، یعنی از 5 شروع میشه، 5 4 3 2 1، 5 درجه داره تا 1 رس، یعنی بهترین ژاپنی رو میفهمی. ما وقتی که 5 و 4 گرفته بودم، وقتی که 4 گرفتم تانستم که جای کار پیدا کنم. یعنی اگر میخواین شما در ژاپن زندگی کنین و امو بیسیک ژاپنیس که میخوایم یاد بگیریم یا دیلی کانورسیشن، اونمو باید در لول 4 باشه. وقتی که لول 4 گرفتم و من آسان شد و تانستم که در اونجا کار گرفتم. یعنی بهترین کار است کسی که در ژاپن اگر بخواید مثلا کار کنه و هر کس زیادتر کسایی که میایه اینجا تمام شمی فابریکا کار میکنن یا مثلا کارتناسی سوبان جابجایی که ولی ما جای کار گرفتیم جایست که یک مرکز است. ما عقب مانده های ذهنی را نگاه میکنیم و برشان گیم میزنیم، همراهشان بازی میکنیم. بالاخره یک کار است که کار آسان و ماش خوبتر داره و همچنان یگانه خوبی که داشت کلش ژاپنی هاست همراه ما، هیچ دیگه کس از خارجی نیست، تنها من خارجی هستم. تمام یعنی زیاد برام کمک کرد در محیطی که چون ژاپنی هستن. ژاپنی را فعلا ما درجه یعنی لول 3 ژاپنی را خلاص کردیم، گرفتیم. 2 لول دیگه ما مانده. پارسال نه 4-5 ماه پیش از مکتب ژاپنی فارغ شدم و فعلا هم دمی بخش دمی مرکز گروپ کومکس کار میکنم. و مشکلاتی که در 1 سال ما دیدم، در 1.5 سال تا که من لنگویج اسکول خلاص کردم و بالاخره کار درست گرفتم، مشکلات خود داره. وقتی که ما میخوایم نو در ایجاد زندگی رو شروع کنیم، قسمی که اوریسان هم پیشتر اشاره کردن، مثلا ما وقتی که خوراک بخوایم، خوراک چیزی که حلال باشه باید پیدا کنیم، یا مثلا خود اجتماع ژاپن زیادترشان درباره مسلمان، مثلا درباره مسلمان ها معلومات ندارم. من در جای کارم میرفتم در میر رمضان که گذشت، گفتم من آن نمیخورم. گفتن چرا؟ گفتم روزه. خب هرچی میخواستم تشریح کنم اینا دربارهش نمیفهمیدن. خب بالاخره مقصد من روزه خودم میگرفتم، یعنی من نتونستم به اونا درست بفهمانم. میگفتن چرا کس روزه میگیره؟ خب بیره من به دیتیلز به ژاپنی و قدرم ژاپنی زیاد نشه برشان بیان میکنم. یا مثلا لباس پوشیدن، من در جای کار میکنم در اونجا باید کل ما یک یونیفرم داریم باید پوشیم، نمیشه چادر بپوشم. یونیفرمی که دارن امور میپوشیم و کل ما باید یک رنگ باشیم. اینی بعض از مشکلات پیش میآید یا تا ای که ما خود در این محیط عیار کنیم و جایگاه خود پیدا کنیم. مقصد ما ای است کسی که میخواد در ژاپن بیایه و از نو میخواد شروع کنه، در اول یگانه مثلا من می اشتباهی که کردم در 3-4 ماه اول درس نخواندم، غیر از اینکه من خود دپریشن گرفتیم، نتونستم که تا 1-6 ماه لسان یاد بگیرم. کسی که نو میایه به نظر من اگر زیاد فوکس خود در درس خواندن خود بکنه و خود مصروف کنه، هم در پارت تایم جاب که میکنه و هم در درس خواندن، هم دپریشن نمیگیرش و هم لسان زودتر یاد میگیره. اگر 6 ماه اول خوب درس بخوانیم میتونیم ژاپنی بیسیکش خوب یاد بگیریم. و قسم که ریسان هم قبلا گفت که ما در ژاپن اگر ما لسان یاد گرفتیم زیاد اپورتونتی، یعنی زیاد است بر ما در ژاپن. مثلا در افغانستان اگر ما یک لیسانس می داشتیم، ماستر می داشتیم، سالا بیکار می بود، نمیتونست به خود وظیفه پیدا کنه. یعنی اگر ما در ژاپن تنها لسانش مهمه، لسانش اگر یاد داشتیم و رشته که شاید در افغانستان خوانده باشیم یا در اینجا، یا مثلا بعد از لنگویج اسکول شما میخواین که یک رشته را بخوانین 2 سال یا 4 ساله، بعد از او یعنی اگر دانش داشتی و لسان یاد داشتی 100% آینده خوب و کار خوب منتظرت است. یعنی از هر رقم کمپانی ها را میتونید پیدا کنین و مطابق به رشته و مطابق به میلتان کار پیدا کنین. و تصویری که مثلا ما قبلا از ژاپن داشتم و فعلا دارم، مثلا وقت فکر میکنم کسی اینا اجتماعی نیستن یا نمیخواین امریک از گپ بزنن یا مثل موارد زندگیشان این قسم نیست. من تا وقت کار ما با ژاپنی که همکارای ما هستن و کسایی را که میشناسم، مردم زیاد یعنی یگانه مشکلشان نیست مثلا ما میگیم مسلمان نیست، من تا یک قدر مردم راستکار، مردم بسیار اجتماعی، مردم خوب. و یگانه کاری که زیاد خوش دارم در جای کاری که من میکنم، ما در افغانستان یک کس که مثلا رئیس ما می بود، ما نمیتونستیم تا با صدای بلند امرش گپ بزنیم، رئیس در جای خود بود. مثلا ما استاد بودم، کار را که مثلا خاله در دفتر ما بود میکرد، من هم میکردم. من مثلا یک پیاله نمیشتم، نه باید خاله بشه، مگم در اینجا قسم نیست. در جایی که من کار میکنم معلوم نیست که مثلا صفاکار ما کیست، منیجر ما کیست، کسی که کار عادی را میکنه کیست. کل ما کار گروپی، اونم کار خشر رو ما میکنم، مدیرم میکنه کار دیگه، کل ما کارای یعنی یک رقم میکنیم. از خاطر در ژاپن به نظر ما کار رو که میکنیم هیچ نمیشرمیم، چون همگی هم یکسان کار میکنم و تعادل بین کلگی یکی است. و دیگه ای که کمک، مثلا در افغانستان میگفتیم مثلا اینی 2 ساعت اینی کار ماست، من شروع کنم کار دیگرم، مگر اینجا نه. اینجا زیادتر در چیزی که زیاد اولویت میتن کار گروپی است. همیشه باید یکی کار گروپی، به نظر من همی چی موفقیت از اینا میامی است که یکی که از کار هیچ وقت نمیشرمن، دیگه ای که زیاد پشت کار دارن، رخصتی هیچ وقت نمیگیرن، آن تایم میباشن همیشه، و دیگه که همیشه در کار خود گروپی کار خوبتر پیش میبرن. دیگه این بود تجربه ما که 2 سال داشتم و بالاخره مکتب ژاپنی خلاص کردم و فعلا در ژاپن زندگی میکنم. زندگی در اول قسم برتانی داور شدم، مشکلات خود زیاد داره، مگر ما باید کوشش کنیم که همیشه چیزی هدف را که داریم بگیم باید ما به هدف خود برسیم. مثلا من فعلا هم خانه بسیار خوب دارم، تقریبا 2 اتاق هستم، وظیفه خوب دارم، معاش خوب دارم و حتی حال فعلا دوستای بسیار زیاد دارم، مثلا دخترای پاکستانی، ایندی، سریلانکایی، از هر کشور دوستای پیدا کردیم، افغاناست، چند دختر افغان که نو آمدن. یعنی حالا هم از در اجتماع خوبتر داخل شدیم، هم زندگی خوبتر دارم و هم ژاپنی رو یاد گرفتیم. پس یعنی اگر پشت کار داشته باشین و خصوصا ژاپنی رو خوبتر یاد بگیرین، به نظر من یعنی آینده بسیار خوب در ژاپن منتظر شما می باشه. و این بود از تجربات من که در 2 سال گرفتیم و امرایتان شریک کردم. خدا کنه که براتون مفید تمام شده باشه.
خیلی تشکر از معلومات شما، بسیار خوب بود.
Excuse me, so may continue. Yeah. 皆さん, so you completed your explanation?
Yes, completed.
Yeah. Thank you very much for detailed explanation.
Welcome.
Okay, so sorry for interruption, and I noticed some of you are raising hand, but now we move on to the Q&A session, and many people already wrote down their questions. So first, let me cover the questions already raised in the question sheet and also the chat box. Then after that, I think some of you should have question to Lara, so you can also ask her. So let's be quick one by one. First one, can those who do not know Japanese and are interested in learning Japanese apply for this program? So if you have completely no knowledge of Japanese, you're unlikely to be called for an interview. You should please start learning now and to know what it is like, how it is, what is the grammar, structure, and other things. By the links I shared, you can learn those things. Then I have to be really sure as intellectually that you're ready to learn this language and master. This is the minimum that it is. If somebody started learning 1 year earlier, then have reached certain level already, this is also really positive point that the interviewers can know that this person is quite ready to master the language. So this would be also a really good example. Okay, second one. So this person, I have spent 2.5 years in Japan, and you want to learn Japanese. Actually, this program is for those people right outside of Japan and want to go to Japan. So those already in Japan are not eligible this year. However, we are offering another online language program for those people already in Japan, and we are starting the recruitment for the entry preparatory course in August. So please follow that program to prepare for entry. Okay, number 3, interested in learning Japanese for over 2 course years, become familiar, working environment according to the question. Well, am I able to apply? I think so. So you were studying for 2 years and become familiar. Yep. So then, of course, you can apply, and you have TOEFL score. So about having some proficiency of English, this is kind of a positive, of course, aspect in 2 things. Of course, having English proficiency for some jobs, of course, it's really interesting, and also it's a proof that you have experience of learning another language. So if somebody have never learned systematically English, never learned any other language, you just know Dari and Pasha too, then and you have never studied Japanese, try Japanese, then the reviewers will doubt that you can learn foreign language because you never have experience. So it's better that you have certain level of English or other languages. Okay, then this person applied, you went to Japan 5 years ago. So if you're still in Japan, unfortunately, you're not for this program, but for the other one, for the online language course. But if you're outside, then have some TOEFL score, of course, and you maybe can talk about this program. And question number 6, can I explain more about the refugee background? How can we provide it? I think there's another question regarding this. I'll answer it there. May I ask about the person that wants to recommend us in Japan? Good question. Should the person host to financially? Okay, so basically, it's if you have anybody who can recommend you, anybody in Japan, please ask the person to write a recommendation. But the financial support is not requirement. So if spiritually or for the information thing or as an encouragement, if somebody can be of your help, please write down that. That's and of course, for emergency cases, if somebody can support you financially, partially, that's also good, but it's not required. And Number 8, 16 years old. So presumably, you have not graduated from secondary education. In Afghanistan system, I think you need to be 18, basically. So you need to complete your 12 years of secondary education to apply for Japanese student visa. And number 9, can those who are living in Afghanistan apply for this program? Yes, you can. And unfortunately, this person rejected twice and learned Japanese. And you are learning Japanese via Duolingo. That's great. And I think if you're, you haven't changed your mind, continuing studying, you have been continuing studying Japanese to improve that, this can be a really positive thing in application. Yeah, and we consider those limitations. There's practically almost no Japanese people inside of Afghanistan, and it's really quite hard to communicate. So we take these things into consideration. Okay, then over 10, accommodation need to be from people in Japan who are citizens and know us. So if such a person, it's better to have that person to be your recommender. But if you don't, that's fine. Then you can get somebody who is not in Japan, your university lecturer or your employer or anyone, not your family member, but from others who can recommend you. English language, the interview will be basically in English, but we will have a bit of Japanese conversation test during the interview. And yeah, we're not requiring high level of Japanese. The basic. What is important is that you know the structure, you know how time consuming it is, and you know that you want to do that. That's the important thing. Many people argue that I may master Japanese in 1 year or so, but if you have tried that, then you don't say that. Actually, it's not practically possible to reach business level within 1 year. So that's what we mean. Okay? And number 11, with special consideration given to those who have been threatened multiple times in Afghanistan. Yes, so please write down, there's a required document to prove your refugee background. So please write down your experience and testify what happened. And also, it's better that if somebody else, the person who recommends you can also explain your background, refugee background. If just one person is saying, we're not saying that we don't believe that, but of course somebody can testify, can give a testimony about that. That's also becomes stronger. That makes it stronger testimony. So that's also recommended. In Japan, is it possible to improve our skills, including sports, and working? If you become a university student, it may be possible. During the language school students, you will be very busy learning language, working part-time. Some people, just once a week or twice a week, they do some activities. So you may do that. Yeah. And last year, yep, good question. Female participants are more likely to be selected. Good question. So last year, actually, we recruited 6 female and 1 male students. Unfortunately, 1 male student had to withdraw, so only 6 female students arrived. And this is just coincidence, I'd rather say. So based on the criteria, it happened that all remaining or majority were female. But we are not excluding or making this priority for male applicants. So both gender has equal opportunity for that. And of course, but among the criteria, there's some consideration for vulnerability. So if the review committee member figures that being a female, and if somebody is seen to be more deprived of the rights or more in risks of being harmed, then if other conditions are the same, then the vulnerability will be more prioritized. So because of the gender, if somebody is more vulnerable, then this might be one of the reasons. But it's not that we make a rule that female will be prioritized. It's not that. Excuse me. Okay, number 13, what are your priority for choosing applicants? As I have been explaining, readiness to learn the language or have learned before, and adaptability to the society, including readiness to work part-time and clear career vision. And if you have some difficult situation of being threatened or having difficulties or some reasons to be vulnerable, please write down them in your statement. So these are the points the review committee has taken into consideration. Number 14, who has a chance in the selection process? Evacuated people residing in Afghan, we have a priority for where you are. Based on the criteria we explained, we give the selection. Which students accepted for this program will be accepted. I think that this is written in the eligibility criteria for the program guidance, so please read that. What is the criteria for the measuring threat on somebody's life to be eligible? Good question. So among our review committee members, we have some experts in the refugee issues, and those people will carefully examine the statement and also to study the situation, and we may refer to those persons to verify their explanation or more information, or contact the people who is recommending to this person to get more information to know their situation. So that's how we make evaluation of the statement each applicant makes. Then number 17, what things are asked in the interview question? I explained about some criteria, adaptability or learning Japanese, readiness, or career vision. So questions are related to those points. So you should be ready, clearly explain. You should be able to clearly explain your future career plan, not just a dream, concrete plans, how you make your new life in Japan, and how you have made a research about the Japanese language and try to learn that, and why you think you're ready to learn that, those things. And the team in three after 2021 station, it doesn't matter where you are, so Malaysia, Indonesia, whatever, you can. And my friend who's PhD student in Japanese University wrote the English better. And the same one, if the same person cannot write the same letter again, it may be accepted. It's acceptable. Yeah. It's acceptable. But if the person can write another one this year, that's theoretically it's but it depends on the institution. So if he or she can write some additional sentence that I recommend this person this teacher, the reasons are written explained already the last year was some notes to be understand. I think that's saves the time and labor for doing that. And 19, around 10 years living in Indonesia. Unfortunately, so capacity now is quite limited, just 8 maximum students. So we know that the millions of Afghans and many are stuck in Indonesia now, and others in Iran, Pakistan, have been born and lived there for decades. I know the situation, and we are now sort of scholarship is now limited. We cannot expand the targets to targeting those people. So we limit the people who left after 2021 or those already still in Afghanistan and in need of evacuation. So those are the target of this program now. And this question. So if your question is number 20, if you're asking, you can get a job by using English. Basically, you need a Japanese to find a job in Japan. And number 21, having any Japanese language should have like a stage. So I think I explained. If you don't have any knowledge about that, it's unlikely that you're going to be called for interview. Friends born and raised in Iran, but she's Afghanistan can she in this program. So if she was born and raised in Iran and never visited Afghanistan, so unfortunately this program is not targeting those people yet. It's in Chinese language, so indirectly we borrow Chinese character in our system. So if somebody is really good at writing system Chinese, we suppose that that person is a bit more ready to learn the Japanese writing system. So some advantage. More information as last professor requirements. I think I already explained. 2 years of learning Japanese challenges for us universities. So for university scholarship, you have to apply for a scholarship. We are offering another program. You have to apply for it. But there's another review process there. So whether you're going to be selected or not, it depends on the selection process. So this is not guaranteed. You can apply. We help you to make a progression, but whether you're going to be selected or not, it depends on the program. Girls, opportunity, yes. And we cannot hear you clearly. Sorry. Now is it better? Sorry. I hope it is clear. And who was in Excel?
堀井さん、多分
Yeah, はい。
カメラオフしてもらったら、多分私でもあんまり聞こえないので、どうですかね。
すいません。じゃあ、これで。Is it better? I was quite sorry. So we're going to type the answers here later. So you will come back to the answers later. Do we need to sign and scan it or is it necessary? Signature, this is, signature is, yeah, it's required, okay. And if you have an online shop, then the certain business is considered a strength in us. Online shop and certain business is considered strength in our acceptance. It depends. You have to explain why you think it's your advantage, okay? And in the university 8th semester, not eligible for this program. University 8th semester. Yeah, if you're really ready to leave your university in the middle, then you can apply. Born and raised in Iran, yeah, it's the same question. Having recommendation from someone from Japan. Ineligible, no. Okay, so I covered everything, and sorry for the hard hearing, and we will write down the answer here, so you can refer to the file later to know more answers. And I'm very sorry, the time is almost up, and we need to move to actually another meeting, and there are some questions are not covered in the chat box, so we will copy the questions here, and we'll write down the answers to this question sheet. So for those questions in this chat box and which were not yet answered, please refer to the info sheet later. Then you should get some answer later. Okay, and for people who raised hand, and we're sorry, we're not equipped with much of time for the verbal Q&A session. So If you have any questions, please write down them here, then we will answer later. And Hamida-san, do you have any particular comments that you really need to answer directly, verbally to any of the questions? Hamida-san.
Hi. Hey.
Do you have any final comments that you really need to answer directly to some of the questions here?
So let me check at the questions.
Okay, so then probably we can later check the questions later and can make up the answers later. Okay, so I'm very sorry for the people who've been waiting for the raising hand, but time is up and we need to move to the next meeting. So please check the Q&A sheet, and if you have any additional questions, please continue the questions here. Then we will update the questions, then we'll continue the Q&A session here. Okay, thank you very much for your joining, and we recorded the session, so any of your friends who are interested in this program, missed this program, we can share the link of the recording, so please tell them to contact us through our website. Okay, thank you very much for joining, and I'm very sorry for my hard hearing, and I hope it was useful, and you're going to make a good preparation to apply for this program. Thank you very much, and looking forward to having your applications. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.